Local Saigon business shoutouts for today. Number one, we got Nutri Nuts selling organic nut milk and also organic nuts to Saigon. And number two, we got Mila Mushroom. Mila Mushroom is a local pizza place here in Taodian, District 2, Saigon. Highly recommend it. Get the supreme pizza. And number three, last but not least, shout out to my bro Connor Kelly for releasing his first book, Diary of a Saigon Expat. Highly recommend it. I'm reading it right now. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Look Saigon, where your voice can be heard. I'm here with my bro Vito. He's coming back now for like the fourth or fifth time. But yeah, we're talking about faith versus religion. Do you need religion in order to have faith? Hey, what's up, guys? I just woke up. Welcome to another episode. I'm here with my bro Vito. It's been a while since we recorded, right? It's been like a few months.
A few months, yeah.
I think a lot has happened since then.
For me, I would say so. Yeah, like I don't know about you. Like, how much has gone on for you since then?
No, yeah, I think for both of us, it's been a lot of yeah. Oh, you know what? Like, uh, Lunar New Year was like 1 month ago, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a big holiday over here. It's like a whole week of no work, no school.
Oh,
Like,
really? That's one.
like almost
Yeah.
the whole city shuts down. There's just like a few little places open. And my family came for a whole month.
Yeah, yeah, right. You told me you mentioned that. Awesome. How was that?
That was sick because like I live in this studio apartment and I had my dad, grandpa, and grandma all staying here at my place.
That's how. When was the last time you saw like your? Well, I guess your grandparents. Oh, I mean your family in general.
I had seen them last year in June. Yeah.
So still a while. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get that being away from family for a while. But yeah, eventually our all our lives just take us in different directions. I guess yeah, the big thing is keeping in contact with the ones you care about, with your family, your loved ones.
Yeah, man, like I never got to observe them so closely as I did here because like I mean they we stayed in my little apartment, so I was able to really observe them all more closer than I ever did before.
Yeah, I can imagine, and that's actually interesting because, well, as you know, I'm going through a life coach certification now, so
Nice.
I'm learning that yeah, the importance, which is something I really hope and expect to get better at, but just reading body language. So it's funny that you
Mm.
mentioned like your whole family, you had them so close to you, uh and yeah, just I would imagine you just be able to yeah, pick up on everything, all of that, like and just be able to read them that much better.
Mm. And like I think my final conclusion on them is like yeah, like they're trying their best to figure out how to live right like everybody else. And like at the end of the day, like they're good people. They're really good people, and I'm really happy that they're my family.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I definitely remember your parents, Danny, obviously they're all great people. Yeah.
Yeah. And like so after they left, because like the thing is like when they left, it happened they left while I was working because their flight just happened to be during my work shift. So I said goodbye in the morning on my way to work. Goodbye, everybody. And I went to work, came back, and they're gone, right? So then I was like, oh, this is so weird. Like they were just here for a whole month, and today I went to work, came back, and they're gone. Like, God, that's so weird. Like, and I felt like I really missed them a lot.
Mm. I've been there, and yeah, for sure. When well, me living in Peru, um, obviously, when my parents were well, when I was staying in Peru, and my parents were already here in the States, and they would come visit. Yeah, sometimes I would be staying with them or them with us, and then yeah, just like you said, out of nowhere, it's like yeah, you just wake up and they're gone, and it's a weird sensation, but I
Mm,
guess yeah, I've gotten a little more used to it, and yeah, I'm definitely going to be preparing to be far away from my parents again, probably later on this year, if everything goes according to how I'm planning it.
Nice.
But definitely though, as I'm getting older now, obviously I've become a lot more in touch with just my faith, spirituality, even more than that. Just just loving each other. I just really realized the importance of all of us loving each other, and just being good to one another. And a huge part of that is keeping that love with your family, with your friends, the
Mm,
ones you
that's cool. That topic of faith has been coming up a lot recently for me. Like, so
really.
yeah, like I want to ask you, yeah, well,
Yeah,
like what do you
that
mean by faith? Because I know, like, at least for me, like I'm not religious, but I feel I still have really strong faith. So like, I don't know about you.
Oh no, I fully feel what you just said, and I agree. But it's funny. So I actually did just decide, because I was actually last night. I was wondering. I was just sitting here and I was wondering the pretty much the same thing. Do I really consider myself religious? And then I just straight up got on my phone and yeah, I looked up just the textbook definition of religious,
Mm.
and it's actually well, you also know when people like tell you, "Oh, I listen to this guy or I watch his show religiously." It's simply
Sure.
it's a deep commitment, and I guess throughout history already the word religion has been associated with that strong belief in God, which is, I guess, the definition is what it is. It's just
Mm,
it's a belief in God or gods. But what I've realized, and this is something I've also realized just over the course of the past 1 to 2 years, that faith and religion absolutely do not have to go hand in hand, because when you
mm,
talk about religion, you can also end up um, associating that with organized religion, which with the church and the Catholic Church and everything. Which, as strong as my faith has become in, I will say in God. Also, I mean, I am just a believer of God now. Honestly, it is what it is. All this stuff,
mm,
so much stuff has happened that I've had this spiritual awakening, and right now it's just I feel connected to this higher power. So it is what it is. But that's just me. But at the same time, saying that, I am fully aware of the fact that the Catholic Church, at the end of the day, it's not the best organization that has existed in the world, um, for multiple reasons. So yeah, I don't really subscribe to the idea of organized religion, like organized, like going to church and everything. And I don't think I ever will. But that's fine, because I don't need it, and I don't think anyone needs that, just to have faith in God, the universe, a higher power, whatever you want to call it.
mm. Right, yeah. Like when I hear the word religious, yeah, I think about religion. And then when I think about what is religion, I think like it's a story, right? It's a story about what God is, where he came from, like who his friends are. Like it's like the whole mythology about what the higher power is. Like I do believe in the higher power. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know who his friends are. And I think it doesn't matter.
It doesn't, because really all that matters is yeah, what's in here, like the faith that's in here.
Mm,
And actually, man, while we're talking about this, there's actually another topic I wanted to bring into this, because now that I feel like my faith is in just level of spirituality is just as strong as it is right now. I noticed a lot that I think the majority of people and religious people in the world, I feel like a lot of them might well, so have something that I'm personally calling just halfway faith.
Mm.
And I realized that the faith they have, has in a big part, um, have been, essentially programming and yeah, brainwashing sounds bad. I'm just gonna say programming,
Mm.
from the church, from their parents, and a lot of it is just, again, following that organized religion where, you're not you these people, a lot of people aren't really using much of their free thought, and they're just following it like a code, the way the church essentially wants them to.
Mm.
But these are the kind of people who realize that when something bad happens, then they start blaming God, or they start blaming the world, like, for the
Mm.
problems, or they are doubting. In which case, I realize, um, yeah, that faith isn't 100%, um because ultimately it all comes from in here, and if it comes from in here, like I've realized it does, it's like you said, it's nothing's really gonna matter, because it's a feeling you have, it's this warmth, it's this
Mm.
just belief that there's a higher power, just watching over you.
Mm.
What you think about that?
Yeah, I feel like as your feelings of faith increase, so does your feelings of abundance.
Abundance in, like, what way would you say?
Like if you feel that the higher power has your back, then you never feel like you lack anything.
Yes, I fully agree, man.
And what's really cool is like it's like I've met millionaires who feel that they lack things. So it's possible to be financially wealthy but still feel lack.
Yeah.
And it's possible to not be financially wealthy yet and feel totally abundant.
hmm Because, yeah, and this is something that I've been learning in my course too. So it's cool that you mentioned that. Uh, because, yeah, really all it comes down to is your mental. That's where your faith comes from. Well, a part at least of where your faith comes from.
Mm.
It's all in here ultimately. Actually, now I'm thinking of the video you sent me the other day, which I loved so much. Because, yeah, it's just these positive, success, positive thinking. It really, at the end of the day, um it's all just about, uh you know what, I was about to say, faith in yourself, actually, not just faith in
Mm.
a higher power, but faith in yourself and in your purpose, and in your ability to, your just whatever abilities and skills you've accumulated in life, and
Mm.
use just not being afraid. um that's another thing, actually. Fear is a huge thing, actually,
Right.
that whole.
Fear is like lack of faith, right?
Yeah,
Do you want to try a
yeah,
quick kind of like mock coaching session
yeah, sure.
where
Absolutely.
because this is something that I actually this actually happened to me. Like I coached somebody or I tried to coach somebody with this challenge. So in this scenario, I'm gonna be that person and you're the coach trying to
Okay.
help trying to help me figure this out. Okay. So like in this mock session, my issue is this that I can I only feel secure in my life if I have a partner who can commit to me.
Okay, well, first of all, I would ask, um
Or just talk to me like I
why.
am that person.
Okay. So why exactly would you say that you feel the need to have someone in your life at all? Like, where do you think that need comes from?
Mm, I think in my life, I just didn't feel like someone consistently had my back, even throughout my childhood.
Okay. Um, um, okay. So, hmm, yeah. See, now I'm trying to think of just going into just deeper and deeper questions.
Mm.
Okay. So yeah, you did not. Yeah, you grew up just not really feeling that that level of support in your life. Um, now, so if you were to really, really just picture yourself in your head, um, so if you were to, okay, so what do you feel? So imagining a life where you are you are happy, just being with yourself, truly loving yourself. What do you think would be necessary for you to achieve that?
Uh, Thinking about being by myself is so scary. I try not to think about it ever.
Okay. Um, but okay. So why exactly does it frighten you so much? Like, what is it that frightens you about that idea?
It might be something that like if someone does not commit to me, then I think it means that I suck as a person.
Okay, but okay, so let's try this. Why don't you just off the top of your head list off um list off all the things you like about yourself as a person, all the just pretty much any positive thing you can think
Mm,
of in your life, any skill, any positive attribute. Um,
nice.
yeah, yeah, just off the
Uh,
top of your head.
so I'm assertive. I'm a good leader. I'm attractive. Um, yeah, I know how to get things done.
Okay, so does that really sound like a worthless person to you?
True, it does not.
Yeah, yeah, because at the end of the day, we all have these positive attributes. Obviously, you're a good person. A lot of us we're good people in life, just trying to do the best we can, and ultimately, that's what it's about. It's about just not just counting your blessings in life, but well, essentially, yeah, your blessings include all your positive attributes, all the good things about you, and just really accepting those, and then after that, that then we can probably delve into the things we do need to improve on. And yeah, obviously, with what you've been telling me about not just the fear of being without someone and being alone, um that is definitely one big thing to yeah, one big thing to work on, but at the end of the day, it is one issue to tackle, and we considering all your other abilities that you have, I would say another amazing thing we can do as humans is just use our positive traits, our positive attributes, to attack those certain issues. Because a person with all the positive qualities that you just listed, that sounds to me like a person who can absolutely get things done on his own, and actually, once you would get used to that, well, that's the whole thing, you would keep doing that, and eventually you would get used to that mentality, and that's essentially how you find your love for yourself, and in finding that love for yourself, you will realize that, of course, it's so nice to have someone that that supports you like that, but it's not a necessity, because at the end of the day, the only one really um you need love from in life is yourself.
Nice. Okay, let's end it. That was good.
Cool, cool, cool.
And the thing about like asking me to list the good qualities, that was really powerful. I forgot to do that with this person.
Well, I mean, for me, it's fresh in my head because it's literally one of the tools I just read the other day in my course.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, we got to a point where uh like this person, the challenge for me with this person is actually this person is scared to heal. And we got all the way to the part where it's like, okay, so you have two options on how to live the rest of your life. One is continue to have your happiness depend on commitment, or have your happiness not depend on commitment. And we got to that crossroad, and then she just like short circuited. It was like, oh, this is too scary. Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Ultimately, I think, well, based on what I've been reading, I think, you definitely do have to give the people, if well, again, I wasn't there. I don't know exactly how intense like she got, but yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not good to like push so much, but I think it is good to at least have the person analyze, why exactly it is so scary for them, because in that situation that could have led to something even deeper.
Mm,
Probably could have just taken a break. Yeah, just a breather, and just come back to it, if the other person is willing to. But yeah, again, I wasn't there, so I don't really know how intense
mm.
her reaction.
And also like the whole thing, like it wasn't even like that whole session or whatever, it was not even planned. We were just hanging out and eating some food, and then I just caught a little whiff of something. I was like, hey, let's dig into that real quick. And then just it just took us into this huge rabbit hole, and like,
Oh, okay, so this isn't somebody you were legitimately coaching them.
right, it
Like,
just happened. Yeah, it just happened
it
spontaneously.
just, yeah, that's it. That's what's crazy too, and that's what makes me so happy to know that this is going to be like my career path in life, and I'm gonna excel in it, because it's crazy. Like, sometimes you realize you just coach people in normal situations. I actually, the other day, I actually pulled the same shit on my mom. I think just out of nowhere. Like, my mom was literally, we were talking, and yeah, she was telling me, oh yeah, like I feel like I don't really want to yeah, like sometimes I feel like I don't want to do things. Like this morning, I really told myself I wanted to go to the gym, and eventually I decided not to. Just immediately, my brain was like, why not? Like, why not? And then eventually, we're just like, okay, well, I guess it's a bit of laziness, and that's where we got to. Because at the end of the day, yeah, sometimes laziness is ultimately just a big excuse. It was such like a big reason holding me back for so much of my life. And yeah, it's just a big issue with so many people. But at the
Mm.
end of the day, when you come down to it, a lot of it, when it doesn't have to do with more deeper issues like insecurity and what have you, um sometimes you do realize it is just laziness, and ultimately laziness is no excuse at all.
Mm. Yeah, just try your best.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Like, uh, and I guess the other thing is a fear of failure. That's why, well, because they're afraid they'll fail. But if you fail, you just failing is the only way you'll. It's the best way to learn. Actually, is failure. So
That's true,
just
actually.
so I guess a big thing is also just learning how to embrace failure and
Mm.
embrace learning from your mistakes. I remember my previous job. which I learned so much from. They actually called it the student mentality, which is just always just get in your head that you can always be learning something from someone else. Like, don't ever think that you know everything about a certain topic, or that you
Mm,
can't learn something, that you're smarter than someone else. Even someone who you have infinitely more experience than, they could end up teaching you something about something you knew nothing about.
that's true.
Um, so yeah, I think that is a big tool to attacking that fear of failure, and
Mm.
just getting that mentality of learning from your mistakes. And yeah, that's how you get better.
I think we have to redefine failure because failure sounds so like so negative, right?
Yeah. There's a problem with a lot of words, ultimately, isn't it? They've because of, I think it's ultimately because of just the amount of just general pessimism that is formed in humanity, just over the past, I don't know how long,
The
years, but
the cool thing is
um,
like you can go into your mind and like go into the dictionary of your mind and redefine words so they have different meanings.
mhm. It's amazing, bro. Like, just the yeah, how that's also one other thing our brains are capable of. I mean, just
Mm.
it takes effort, it takes that meditation, just reconditioning, like, daily. But so yeah, all this takes effort, but it everything can be done from here. Like, our minds
Yeah,
are so full.
yeah. You can believe whatever you want.
Mhm. We have the power to manifest things into reality
Yeah,
just by wanting them and working towards them,
that's true.
and in ourselves.
Wait, in your coaching class, have they talked about manifestation and law of attraction and stuff like that?
I haven't gotten there yet in my course. Those are actually things I have been just researching on my own time.
Ah, nice. Actually, I think you're right. I think that stuff is researched outside of the class, and then later you can choose to coach people in those things if you want.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Yeah, because I've definitely been looking into that, but yeah, on my own time. So yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, I'm always thinking, I mean, the law of attraction, that's it's just something. It's so, I mean, first of all, it's just cool. It's cool, just the fact that, like, just all these energies present, and essentially it's whatever energy you project, you're going to attract.
Hmm. What's cool is like I really this is kind of similar to Jim Carrey's quote about like I wish everybody could get rich and famous to find out that that doesn't make them happy, right? So like what I'm thinking now is like something similar. Like I hope everyone can learn manifestation so they can attract all the things they want and realize that still can't make them happy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It sounded just a little like grim for a second when you. No, I totally agree, because again, at the end of the day, like, the one thing you need, the only thing that is going to give you true happiness is genuinely loving yourself.
Exactly.
Without that, there's really no people are constantly looking for happiness from outside sources. But again, like we talked about in our previous conversations, also, it's all in here.
Yeah.
Like, it's self-love, it's loving yourself. And now I've realized, it's so crazy how it's true, that you can't really give true love to someone else until you give it to yourself. I
Right.
didn't really understand why. I still don't know if I could fully explain it, but I can definitely
Mm.
say I fully understand it now.
Mm. I mean, I guess somebody could ask, well, who is you and who is the other people? Like, is there something connecting you and other people?
What do you mean specifically?
Like, do you have like the same, like you and every other human on Earth, do you have the same origin?
No, definitely not.
Are you from different planets?
We are not. No, we're all from the same.
We're all fruit from the same tree, like just physically, right? Just physically, we're we're coming from the same planet.
Yeah. I mean, essentially. So, yeah.
Like it makes you zoom out. It's like, oh, yeah, where do planets come from? Where does everything come from? It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, we're just so small. I mean, we're a speck. Literally, quite literally,
Yeah.
we are a. Now again, I don't know. I'm not an astrologer. Like I don't know, but um astrologer or astronomer. I don't know who what's this, which one is the study of space?
I think it's astronomer.
That, yeah, I knew. Yeah, because I knew in my head astrologer, yeah, uh wasn't the right one. But yeah, I'm not an astronomer, but it is very likely that at least in our galaxy, in the Milky Way galaxy, we
Hmm.
probably are the most intelligent species. But beyond that, there's just infinity beyond that. So yeah, really, why wouldn't there be like a higher power? And you know what I was thinking that day? Yeah, science fully exists, but where does science come from? Where do numbers and math, like, I mean,
Hmm.
you a lot of it was created by humans, but when you really, it's just, you can continue going down the rabbit hole and find out that there are things that we as humans couldn't even have come up with.
Right. Like even like if you like rip open a beehive, you see like they make perfect hexagons in the
Yeah,
honeycombs.
how does that happen? Who put that in their little bee brains, like,
Right.
to be
Yeah,
able to do that?
it's like humans didn't discover geometry. We just realized that it's out there in nature already. That's awesome. Yeah, I usually ask
Yeah.
my English students about that. Like, we'll learn about hexagons and the shapes. I'm like, hey, bees can make hexagons. How do they do that? Do they take math class? How do they do that? And then we just try our best to find an answer, but it's just too abstract.
And I guess, that's the thing about science ultimately, right? Is, all the hardcore scientists, a lot of them being atheists, they just can't accept that there's no, that there might not be an answer, or there's an answer that they don't know to something, because
Mm,
they an explanation. There are people that have to find an explanation to everything. But I think that's just part of the wonders of the universe. We should be open. We should definitely be open to accepting that there are things we don't know. Like, for example, like we were talking at the beginning, we have our faith, we have our spirituality, but like you mentioned, we don't know if it's the universe as a whole, if it's God, this guy with a beard that
uh,
has been shown to us. We don't know who his friends are. Like, yeah, we don't know, and that's fine that we don't know, because just true faith, I believe, is just feeling, um, I guess, feeling good about the fact that we don't know, but we choose to believe that, again, there is something out there watching over us.
mm, faith. I'll try to think of a way to like help somebody. I don't want to say visualize, but like kind of feel like who are we really? Right, because Nick is just a concept, right? Like
Yeah.
Nick was a label given to me by my parents,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
given to this person, but it's not actually me. And even all of the memories, like in my mind and my brain, like they're just memories. But who is the thing observing them? Like, what is the awareness?
Exactly. And when you talk about that, you could definitely you so yeah, so now I kind of want to ask you, what is your because a lot of people, a lot of the most spiritual people in the world, they do say that we're just vessels. We're souls in a human casing, essentially.
Hmm.
So what are your opinions on that?
Yeah, it's hard to explain because it's so abstract. Like
Yeah.
I prefer the one do you know Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen master?
The name sounds a little familiar.
Like he would say something like if God is the ocean, then you are a wave.
I
And
like that. I
and
really like that.
and even though sure the wave is an individual wave, it's still part of the ocean.
And the way it's crazy. Now I'm thinking the wave also, you know, based on the tide, like the wave is changing sizes, growing, shrinking. So
True, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I definitely like that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also before he passed away, he said something like don't be sad about me dying because a cloud never dies.
I guess yeah, I don't yeah, I guess I don't really understand that one as well as the first one. Like what's your interpretation of that one?
You could also say like don't be sad about this wave ending because a wave never dies.
Yeah.
It just goes back to the source and then another wave
Yeah.
comes out later.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah, and then you think about that, and you get even further down the rabbit hole of just of spirituality, religion, reincarnation.
Mm,
Again, so many things that we ultimately don't have the answers to, but we just have to take it on faith that,
yeah.
or even if it's just like agnosticism, just accepting that we don't know.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, accepting that we may never have an answer to these questions, and it's fine, because at least for me, from my perspective, I like it. I'm going to like it. The wondrousness. I realized that before, really the only thing keeping me from truly embracing my faith and spirituality is that I realized ultimately I just didn't want to seem like, like, oh, like this super religious person, like to the rest of the world, because I know like super religious people, I know how a lot of other people like see them as see a lot of people, super religious people, as like nut jobs and just like crazy. Like, oh, you believe in that? And yeah, I
mm.
guess I was part of me was just afraid of being seen as that. But I feel I reached a point where I've just found this happiness with all this, and I don't care at all, because I'm happy and I love myself, and I want to I want to give that to other people, because it's the most beautiful feeling.
Mm. Yeah, man. Oof. We got 2 minutes, but this is a good topic right now. The topic of sharing or giving. Like recently I went on a trip with my friend, Vietnamese Nick. We went to a desert and just spontaneously went to a desert and then saw, oh hey, it's pretty dirty here. Like let's pick up some trash. So we picked up some trash in our little bags and shit and we threw it away. And after we did that, it generated this really warm feeling inside of me. It was like, whoa, this is weird. I was feeling kind of like pretty neutral the entire day. Now I feel this really warm sensation. And it lasted for the rest of the day. And I was like, holy shit, just by doing one small act, it generated this warm feeling. What if I did this consistently? What would that be like?
Yeah, and ultimately, I guess that's why you see these people who just Uh, so yeah, that's another big thing. So yeah, obviously giving, realizing that loving others and giving to others definitely helps you in that sense. But I will say you have to make sure you're doing it for you and not other people, because I have noticed there's so many people that, they have just overwhelming empathy in them, and which just makes them feel just super bad or emotional for everybody, and that they start living for other people, but they're not really doing it for themselves. Ultimately, they're doing it because um, I feel like they derive their self-worth from that. But
Mm.
yeah, he is really just genuinely wanting to do good and love. And I think again that comes back to loving yourself. You have to love yourself.
Wait, do you know Lewis Howes?
Again, the name sounds a little familiar, but yeah, not really.
I think his podcast is The School of Greatness or something like that.
Yeah, that name sounds a little more familiar, actually. Yeah.
But I saw a reel they posted recently. I don't know who the speaker was, but he interviewed some American old white guy. But anyways, he was saying like there was a study done about how money can increase our feelings of happiness, right? Like, and they found like if you're poor and then you get a bunch of money, your happiness increases a lot. If you already have a bunch of money and you get more money, your happiness does increase, but it's just like little by little. It's not so much. But they found that uh if you give something to someone yeah, like giving, sharing with someone, the feeling it generates inside of you is equal to the same feeling as if you would have doubled your income.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That is very interesting, and I am definitely not going to discredit that at all. Because actually, when I really think about it, again, it's interesting. I'm sure because it's so they're both feelings of accomplishment. They're both feelings of warmth that you. I guess one is that you did something. You were able to do something. Okay, so yeah, now I'm thinking. Yeah, like in situation of making a lot of money, yeah, you would be feeling like, yeah, you just did something huge for yourself. But how amazing would it be, like feeling, giving something to someone and being able to feel like you just did something amazing for yourself and someone else and the
Mm.
world, someone else.
Like I did a little experiment yesterday. Like I coached, okay, I coached two people yesterday. That felt really good. Uh, and then also one other random act of giving was like I bought 3 bottles of walnut milk, and then I just gave one randomly to the girl at the coffee shop, just randomly, just like, hey, take this. And then just doing that, I was like, oh shit, that feels really good. Just like for no reason.
You know what? Yeah, actually, I want to. Yeah, I actually want to mention like a situation with me the other day that where I think even just the thought, you just, well, not even the thought, but yeah, just the feeling of genuinely wanting to, because I'm actually thinking back now to, so on my commute to work, there's there's this homeless guy that's always just on the street corner about maybe a few blocks away from my work. And yeah, he's always there. I don't know if he's a veteran or not, but yeah, that's I guess irrelevant, because ultimately, he's still homeless. And I've given to homeless people in the past, but definitely, not as much as I'd like to. And I realized, yeah, that, now this new mentality, and just that this new mentality that I have, I noticed a few weeks ago, I saw him and immediately I just started scouring my car for anything I could give him. Unfortunately, I had nothing. I had nothing in my car that I could give him, no money. But I realized, after that I realized I legitimately, I was ready to just roll down my window and give this dude something. Like if I had anything in my car, like no matter like what it was, um just a $5 bill, like $1 bill, that doesn't matter. So yeah, it really just made me think that this really just has to come from you, because if it does come from you, then even the just wanting to do that, just the attempt to do something will I mean, it'll definitely give you that sense of warmth, and that other person, if they know at least you're trying. Well, even at my so at my job, for example, I mean, what I do, I essentially I help enroll people into to their Medicaid plans. What we do, but yeah, and with the just the entire medical, I mean, just the entire healthcare system in Florida, is just so screwed up. So there are so many people that are not getting the help they need, and that's one thing I do enjoy about this job, is that even if I'm not able to help them at all, just providing them with just the best customer service, the nicest just attitude I can, it still makes a difference in their lives, because at least they had probably just gone, well, a lot of them had just gone off the phone with people that were just super rude to them and dismissive. So at least, even though I unfortunately wasn't able to give them the help that they need, they'll still have that little positivity. Oh, they had a nice interaction with someone who was good to them, who they actually felt wanted to help them. So yeah, and I guess that comes down back to what what I guess we mentioned before about just giving love to others, and that essentially, learning to love your. I guess it starts with learning to love yourself, giving love to others, and then eventually that just becomes your happiness.
Yeah, right. Learn to love this wave, and then it will be easier to love all the other waves.
essentially, because yeah, where did it start with? Where, like, you're you, right? So why would you try to love someone more than you love yourself? And yeah, that it sounds a little like selfish, but actually one thing I've realized also is that selfishness is actually, I've realized there's actually a wrong type of selfishness and a right type of selfishness, because yeah, I mean, selfishness doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It just means prioritizing yourself
True.
and your, because essentially, yeah, how well, so essentially it's like, how can you make someone else happy if if you can't make yourself happy?
That's true. That's true.
It's that knowledge, knowing how to find happy, knowing how to make yourself happy, and then I guess making someone else happy just becomes that much easier.
Yeah, true. That topic is really good, happiness, because like it's like everybody has their own definition of the word happiness. It's kind of like love or God. Like people use those words in everyday conversations, but they have different definitions for it.
I was actually this makes me think about some thought I had the other day. I feel like there are a lot of words like this we use a little too willy-nilly, and we really have these words that hold a lot more power than than they do in our heads. Words like love, hate. Hate is the word I am really trying to stay away from now as much as I can. Because again, these are very powerful words, and we have to use them carefully. We've just used them so regularly, so willy-nilly, like I said, not really giving them the proper importance and they need. And then because of that, these words have gone to just not mean as much. Some of them even have negative connotations. People to associate them with just pessimistic thinking, like, oh, love, but okay, but I'll never find love. Maybe I'll never find love. Yeah.
And especially like I've been thinking a lot about happiness because I have used manifestation to try to find it, and it's always failed, right? It's always I was confusing pleasure with love. Oh, sorry, I was confusing pleasure with happiness. It's like, oh, if this feels good, this must be happiness. But it just kept failing over and over and over. So like, I had to ask myself, is it possible that the happiness can be there before the pleasure hits?
And yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, because that was me also too. And I think what I realized is that it has to be, the happiness has to be there before the pleasure hits.
Yeah.
You can't, pleasure alone will not give you happiness.
Mm.
That is a simple truth that everyone has to accept.
Yeah, because if that was true, then we should just all be doing meth and heroin right now, and then we'd be fine,
That
right?
let's all just do drugs, yeah. And just yeah, drugs, sex, like everything. But no, and I guess another thing is that I've been giving a lot of thought to is the issue of having children. Also, a lot of people have children just thinking it'll give them fulfillment in their lives, but having children is, you're bringing another life into the world. So that's not
Mm.
something you because you think it'll give you pleasure. So yeah, absolutely. I love that you mentioned that now, because yeah, really putting into words that, and getting, and yeah, ultimately accepting that um these things that they'll give you pleasure, sure, but they're not going to give you happiness in the long run. They're essentially, in using those, we're just escaping reality
Mm. Mm-hmm.
they want to deal with. But how amazing would it be feeling happiness in facing reality with happiness?
Mm. Yeah, it looks like whenever we consume something for pleasure, we experience an equal crash afterwards,
True. Yep. Very true.
whether it's porn or whatever, meth, or even just like something smaller, like I don't know, an ice cream. It kind of feels like the feeling that we call being bored. It might just be a withdrawal symptom from like our most recent pleasure consumption.
Yeah. No.
Because
Yeah.
it's
So true.
possible, it's possible that if you just sit through the whole bored feeling, it actually fades away and then you feel good for no reason.
Mm, that is an amazing way of looking at it. Yeah. Yeah. You just have to. Well, that's what a lot of people say, right? I've said throughout the years is it's really just being like, um, it's being happy with not necessarily boredom, but well, I guess it would be, you just have to learn to be happy with boredom until it doesn't become boring anymore. Until what? Because that's the whole thing, right? Like people are constantly looking at life pessimistically, whatever can go wrong. But if you just learn to embrace life for what it is, embrace change, accept that these things happen, and it's nothing is the end of the world. um you won't really you eventually get to a spot where you feel like you don't really need pleasure. Like, even for me right now, it's crazy. Like, even I still enjoy weed. But like, it's crazy now, my mentality. It's like I feel like before, like I felt like, oh, not that I needed it. Well, long before, yeah. When I first started, I was absolutely consuming it to escape reality. I thought that was my source of happiness.
Mm.
That started dying down, dying down, dying down. But even up until like a few months ago, it was still, for me, I was still there was still that part of myself telling me that, oh, this is something like I am always gonna want in my life, like, because it eventually does give me. Eventually, it came to the point where I did realize that I was still thinking in the sense that this was something that I needed to feel complete in my
Mm-mm.
life. And but now the way I look at it is like, I could do it for just any other, maybe just like as like a reward for finishing a goal, or but but ultimately I'm fine without it, without anything else
That's true. That's true.
that pleasure in life, like,
Mm.
because my pleasure in life now is, well, not only just, I mean, just living, but more specifically, I've found my purpose in life.
Nice.
So following that is giving me that happiness. And yeah,
Mm,
I don't feel I need anything else. So again, it takes effort. Like I know like this shit takes work, and I guess that's a big issue with a lot of people. Again, it's putting in that effort, feeling laziness. It might a lot of it stems from just insecurity and us not believing in ourselves, which also ultimately I realized it's not really our fault. It's the way we've been programmed for so many years.
mm,
But because it's not our fault. I mean, it's still our responsibility to find our happiness.
mm-hmm,
I find our happiness or just be miserable for the rest of our lives. Like you
mm,
can take your
yeah. It's like I'm very cautious about using the word find and happiness in the same sentence because it keeps implying that I have to go out there and find it.
true. I mean, now when I say it in the sense that you have to find it within yourself because it
Mm,
is, but due to just so much conditioning and programming, we haven't lost the capability, but we've we've come very close to losing the capability to really just easily finding it within ourselves. But we can't. It's still there. It's still fucking there. Like
so
we
what is like
of it
what is a good word to use for finding something that was already there?
unlocking. I would say,
Unlocking.
for me at least that's actually a word that I've been using a lot actually, and I don't know why I didn't use it the first time, but I would say for that it's unlocking something that's already in you.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna use realizing
Realizing, okay.
because I feel with unlocking, I still have to unlock the thing and let it through. Then realizing it's like, what if it's already here?
True. I mean, ultimately, like it's different processes for different people. So I mean, really the important thing is for people to realize. Well, and realize, yeah, it's a realization. Realize that it is in them, and yeah, they just have to get it out. You just have to bring it out. And again, I'm still in my head. I'm still uh, my head still thinks of the word unlocking. Well, especially for me, I I've always been just fascinated with just the concept of it. We there I think there are things inside of us that are locked away, but again they're still in there, they're still in there, but they've been locked away, like I said, by just years of conditioning and programming from the outside world. And uh so yeah, I guess that's why unlocking will always I just it's I like the word, I like the concept of that we would just we have these well, I don't know if you want to call it gate, door, whatever, but um yeah, and so because I guess then you can also start thinking about also like chakras, for like unlocking your chakras, for example, like
Mm-hmm.
mhm. Like what's your opinion on that?
I think the whole chakras thing is like a metaphor for healing your nervous system. It does make sense. And you start at the root. You start at like your most earliest childhood memories, right?
Hmm. Yeah, no, because that's essentially what it is when you are getting in touch with the subconscious, through via meditation or what have you. It is getting in touch with your roots because, yeah, the majority of the times that everything is traced back to childhood trauma. The um, way we were raised, way we were conditioned. From such a young age. Uh, so yeah, and again, I guess that's another reason. Like I like the word unlocking because so much stuff has been compiled on top of that that it's essentially created a wall in our brains, in our hearts, what have you. That we have to work at chipping away,
Mm.
and it's always possible because it was there from the start. It was there from the fucking start. So why wouldn't we be able to find it now?
Right. It's always been there. How can you not find it? Yeah, or realize it? It's kind of it's like in enlightenment, they'll talk about like you looking for your glasses when it's on your face.
That's yeah, that's a perfect metaphor. Like it's been the whole time.
Yeah. If you just slow down enough, you'll realize like, oh, it's on my face. But you have to
Yeah.
stop searching though. You have to stop searching. And the thing it can feel scary to stop searching for I feel I feel like realizing happiness is more difficult than realizing enlightenment because like at least for me, like I felt like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stop searching for enlightenment and like it's gonna show up eventually. Cool. But I still didn't feel happy. And I was still seeking happiness in other things, like
Yeah,
relationships or whatever. Like, I was still seeking it. And I had to keep attracting the thing that I thought, okay, this is it. This is the thing that will finally complete me, and then just watch it fail every single
it,
time.
yeah, I feel that completely. Yeah, because you were essentially thinking then that just the idea of finding enlightenment was gonna make you whole. Like
Mm.
but yeah, I get it completely, but really again that just realizing that happiness that has already been there. And I think, well, that happiness is synonymous with with self-love.
Yeah.
And once you have that, everything else comes
Yep.
super.
That's
That's the
true.
first step. That is the first step. They're I doubt that they're, yeah, because I think the majority, if not all, of the people who have found this level of enlightenment and spirituality and faith will tell you that it just starts with realize with loving yourself, and only, I guess, like we've been talking about, realizing that happiness has been with you all along.
Mm. Right. Like look, when you see a baby smiling for no reason, or when you
Yeah,
work with kids, like I work with grade 3 and grade 4 kids, they're just laughing and being silly and just having fun for no reason. Like they're just smiling for no reason.
and unfortunately, I think what that is we've obviously, with all the obvious stresses of adulthood and everything we learn, eventually we do start losing that childhood innocence. Like when you're a child, obviously, you're not you don't have any real responsibilities because your parents are looking after you. And yeah, you're just being a kid, living life,
Mm.
and you haven't had all this shit like from the external world just mashed into your head.
It's cool. It's
So
cool that you said that. Like kids feel comfortable and happy because their parents are watching over them, right? So us as adults, can we feel something similar for the higher power? Like if the higher power is watching over us, can we also just feel more free to like be happy for no reason right now?
that is a very interesting point, dude. Yeah, that's wild. There, yeah, there could definitely be some truth to that, because yeah, essentially it's a feeling of warmth, right? To feel that something is watching over you. um yeah, I guess the thing would be, because it's weird, man. Like I feel like sometimes I can't even explain it, and like the feeling, and that's why I just chalk it up to simple words: faith, spirituality, enlightenment. Just those three words.
Hmm.
Um, it's sometimes I feel like it's hard to explain further, but weird because you definitely don't want to depend on anything like that, including the feeling of someone watching over you. But it's like now when I think about it in my head, it's like I don't really feel dependent on it. It's just there. It's just there, bro. And like
Ah,
it can't go away even if I wanted it to.
true.
So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
already there. It's already helping you to manifest either positive or negative, and then you just choose whatever you want to intentionally manifest.
Exactly. Yeah. Really because manifestation actually, I actually oh yeah, for my phone. Um no, I had a really cool thought that so I was thinking manifest so uh, I want to I want to get it right the way I thought it in my head. So essentially so when you think about like daydreaming, we all daydream, we all like,
Mm-hmm.
and I've realized I'm still doing it, but now my daydreaming is actually manifestation because
Mm,
yeah, there's still fantasies that I'm having in my head, but I generally feel they're going to happen because I'm doing everything in my power to get there.
mm,
So that's the thing. Yeah, I think daydreaming and fantasizing is without manifestation is where people get stuck, where people just like that because they're not really doing anything about it. Like how is anything going to happen if you don't take action?
true.
So really I realized there's nothing actually wrong with daydreaming, fantasizing about what you want to
Mm,
happen,
for sure.
as long as you actually believe in yourself and put in the work to get there. And essentially I guess that's what manifestation is.
I mean, I remember like I was taking some courses on Mind Valley, and there are some exercises that are specifically to help you imagine things more colorfully. So like you'll be asked to like close your eyes, and imagine like your bedroom or whatever, and then just in your mind start changing the colors of the walls. Like make it green, make it blue, purple, red, like just to practice your skill of visualizing colors for the purpose of visualizing the future that you want so you can attract that.
Really, that's
It,
interesting.
it's like intentional daydreaming, I guess you can call it that.
Yeah.
And like if you can imagine the future that you want, and if you can feel the emotions that you will feel once that thing arrives, apparently that helps it to attract it into your life.
And again, that could be yeah, well that could also be a big part of just the definition of manifestation because yeah,
Mm,
I like yeah, the way you just said it. And I love that you just said it that way because it's just needing more realization. That's literally where I'm at. I'm I'm fantasizing about the future I want constantly. Now
mm,
constantly, but at the same time, I'm not just sitting around just waiting for it to happen, man. I'm actually I've come up with with a legitimate plan to get to this point, and
mm.
which is why I have full faith that I'm gonna get there.
Nice. Good, man. Awesome. I'm visualizing myself being financially independent so I can share that with my family and just like have all of them retire and not have to worry about money ever again. So I'm visualizing that.
That's all. And do you have like a set time frame for like to really just get to a point where you realize, okay, I am financially stable?
Right, that's a good question. If I have to choose a time frame right now, dang, I wrote it down now. I had the date too. Oh my gosh. I had written it down and then when I moved, I lost it. But
I mean,
but
just general. Like for me, for example, like my whole well, to get to I mean, there's gonna be a few phases, but at least this first big phase of essentially my future, just creating my future now is I've given myself 5 to 6 months, and I don't know why I feel again. I feel like it's just um that I guess a lot of people would call like divine timing. You just have to trust like in yourself and just the
Mm.
universe, God, whatever. So and yeah, yeah, I guess you can look for, because the universe eventually it does show you signs. Like this higher power will give you signs if you're open to them. I feel like at least in my case, I can definitely say I've seen a lot of those. So um yeah.
Now that you mentioned like what
Mhm.
date do I want it to arrive on, like, and I'm thinking like, yeah, what should I choose? 6 years, 3 years? But then also I'm wondering like, what if I'm open to the possibility that it could happen today, but
Or
I'm not rushed, I'm not like needy for it. So I can let it arrive whenever it arrives.
yes,
But
yes,
I'm open to the possibility that it could happen today.
absolutely, yeah, and I fully agree because like that's what I'm thinking too. Because for me, I've given myself this set time, but at the same time, every time I think about that, okay, yeah, I really feel like it's gonna happen, But at the same time, I'm perfectly fine, like in myself. It could take less or more, and that's fine because I know it's gonna happen. Like I know
Mm.
it's gonna happen. I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah, like, and like the reason why I want to give this to my family is like, it's not about my self-worth. I'm not gonna feel better as a person after I give it to them. I just want to eliminate their stress about money. Like this is for them. It's not to like to fuel my ego at all. It's just for them.
Oh
Uh,
no, of course, and as it should be, because they're the people you love most in the world, bro.
mm.
So
But the cool thing
yeah,
is that helps with the manifestation, because if the manifestation, if the purpose is to fuel your own ego, I think it kind of like throws like a monkey wrench into the whole process.
yeah, and it's cool because I personally I feel like I've gotten very good control over my ego. Instead of where I feel like I am able to feel myself a little bit from time to time in my head because I always get to the point where I'm like, okay, just, but you can feel as proud of yourself as you want for having reached this, but
Mm,
ultimately, what is it that you want? And really, I realize what I want just and again completely outside of my ego, what I want is for other people to feel what I'm feeling.
mm, nice.
And that because essentially I think about the long run, and I it's just one tiny step closer to just healing the world, healing people. And
Yeah,
yeah, it's and now I don't really think in terms of like good or bad people. And now the big word I use, that this person is just unhealed.
true.
They're just
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way of looking at it. So then we judge them less.
exactly. Yeah. Moves judge me. Yeah, because I will my judgment's still like come, where I'm still human. I still I still get a little frustrated when someone cuts me off in traffic, but
Mm,
at the end
same.
of the day, I just think anything could be going on in that person's life, and they're not healed to that point yet, where maybe they can be more considerate of other people, but that doesn't make them a bad person. I was never a bad person, but I was very unhealed, and that led to a lot of unintentional toxic behavior. So um so yeah, it's really everyone's on their own journey. Everyone we're all hurting. Everyone is hurting about something, and essentially what it is, when you're hurt you have to heal.
Mm. And then to heal, you have to sometimes reopen those scary
Wounds, yeah.
wounds that you don't want to think about.
Hmm.
So then really, yeah, it's like a healing is a courageous act.
And actually, it's crazy that because when we talk about the fact of finding pleasure is escaping that reality, is not wanting to,
Exactly.
but
Like
you
you've seen
have.
the Matrix, right?
Oh, that is and it's crazy because I only watched a trilogy for the first time like 2 years ago. First time in my life.
Nice.
One of my
Nice.
favorite movie trilogies of all time. I love The Matrix.
Dude, all the pleasure consumption we use to escape reality, those are the blue pills.
Yeah.
Those are the blue pills.
The
And the red pills
reality,
are painful.
the red again. Both pills are in front of us.
Yeah.
We got the red one. Yeah,
You can
because
choose
that's
every day. You can choose every day. Do you want to escape? Take a blue pill. Do you want to see reality? Take a red pill. It's gonna be painful, but it's gonna be worth it afterwards, though.
exactly. Again, it's effort, it's work. Like nothing good comes without hard work. And yeah, like you can't expect things to come to you. Like you have to get it. And but it's easy because it's easy when you realize that it's already in here. It's just it's going to be painful, but it's in there. It's in there. You just got to face, you just got to reopen those wounds, face that reality,
Mm,
and you will.
that's true, man. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get some breakfast, man. I'm pretty hungry.
Yeah, 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 probably, yeah. Had this movie I wanted to watch, so, yeah, but
Awesome, bro.
great fucking conversation, honestly. Yeah, it definitely feels a lot better. Yeah, I think it's a much better conversation now. With all the stuff we've gone through these past few months. Yeah, definitely got to do this again, man.
And the cool thing is like there's gonna be more and more insights coming because it just never ends. It's like
But
infinity insights.
yeah,
But
we're all learning. Yeah, so it's just gonna get better and better.
yeah, just enjoy the ride. This time is
Yep.
limited.
Yep.
I'm wondering now, like, how much can I give in my lifetime? Because giving feels so good. It's a win-win for both people. Like, how much can I give in my entire
Yeah.
life?
But again, really, like, do you really want to think like that though? Because then, that might lead to a thought like, oh, I have to be giving more and have to be giving more. I think we should just ultimately be happy with just, well, essentially it's living in the present, being happy in the present, and
Yeah.
just being happy being in the present. Because every
Mm,
time every time you give, you're gonna feel good. So
yeah.
yeah, just on living in the present and just giving love, giving positivity.
Yeah. Yeah, just give good vibes.
Yeah,
So simple. Even just like a smile or something is like already giving something.
yeah, yeah. That smile, that eye contact, it makes such a big difference.
Mm.
Even just thing, yeah.
Have you heard of this guy, Troy Hawk?
No.
Some British guy that he goes to like big cities and just starts complimenting random people and they make content out of that.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I don't know if it because yeah, like I've seen one guy like that. Maybe it was him. Yeah, yeah.
He's usually
I
wearing like
actually
a purple robe. He's just a British guy wearing a purple robe, just complimenting strangers, like in New York or whatever. Like,
Okay, yeah, no, I don't think I've seen him specifically, but that's awesome now. And yeah, I feel like now I would watch that and I would love it because it's really just spreading positivity.
yeah.
Um, I've realized now one of my biggest idols in life. Well, I realize why now even more than ever, but I used to think it was a big part of it was like the weed smoking, but on I realized not at all. Like Bob Marley, really just because of his message, just this man just wanted to heal the world with
Yeah,
love, like
that's
literally
true.
just light up the darkness in the world, just with love, positivity, laughter, faith, and yeah, that's I feel like yeah, like he's someone like I would love to just well not live for him obviously, but live in part for his message and what he
Mm,
centered because there's absolutely no way that how could just spreading love and positivity hurt the world, even just spread people with some of my callers at work like I've had callers cursing me out out of frustration, but
mm.
I'm positive in my head, my life is still going well. I'm still gonna show you love